How you guys doing today? Today, talking about the dometic 310 porcelain toilet. Um, Now I replaced it with a Stanford, I believe it was. It was the brand. It came with the camper, so I really didn't care for it too much. That one had a handle that was right there, and it had two knobs. One was to rinse, and one was to flush. I just finished installing it. This one has a easy open, a slow close, or slow open, I guess we'll call it. And this one's porcelain. It's also bigger too than the original one. Now it looks like before I filled it up, some kind of grease in there or something in there. Maybe some kind of solution, I guess, misses in with the water, keeps the rim, or not the rim. I think that's called plunger. Don't quote me on that. I think it's called a plunger or something like that for the trapdoor for the toilet. Now the original one, it might be like an inch or 2 inches, a little bit bigger, the bowl, than the original one. The height is definitely bigger. This one's 18 inches, and the original one before was like 13. So it kind of felt like you're sitting on a stool. It just sets so low. My wife installed this for me because I had surgery on my hand, so I really couldn't do it. I mean, I could have, but I was probably going to struggle. But she did, no problem. Now this one has water spouts all around. So when you flush it or rinse it, it goes all around. Now that's just going by the pump pretty much. So like I was saying before, it wasn't pretty hard to install. My wife did it for me. Those are the old bolts down there. I think they might be a little bit smaller. That I believe was a half-inch. Half-inch bolt. The new ones are 7/16, I believe, or I think it's 11 millimeter open end. You really can't get a ratchet in there, and the open end, if you have a ratchet type, it's kind of hard. But luckily I replaced this toilet because the seal on the old one was, it looks like someone put it in wrong, so the one side was smashed. So either that or someone replaced this toilet and they tightened the one side before they leveled it out. So this one we went back and forth or whatever. I was able to help her tighten that part. Now this is a 2001 Forest River, 2001 I think it is, the things say. So if you don't have a Nulo toilet, the setup's different when you have the valve that comes up here, because the valve's there. So I had to cut a good amount of pipe out. These are the pieces I had to cut out. So the nut part or the thread part will work on this. I just used two shark connectors. Yeah, they're a little bit pricier, but unfortunately I don't have the tool to crimp them to the new piece. And so I cut it back right there, and it goes into the paneling here, and thread it back on. I did cut it a little too short. If you can see, it's kind of pushed up a little bit, but sealed it. It's still pressurized by the pump, but everything turned out pretty good. The manual says it takes 5 minutes, and it does not take 5 minutes. And unless you have the dometic 300, or I don't know what's below the 300, it's not going to take you 5 minutes or whatever. I do like the pieces here. You got the bolts that hold the lid on. They're covered. Same thing with the nuts down there. They're covered. But if you have the valve type here that you have to pull the handle, you're gonna have to modify this. Now, some guy did a modification where he left the pipe link up to original height and went a hose, but he didn't describe what he needed, what size thread it was. So I got a 7/16, I think it was a 3/8 shark connector valve the guy at Home Depot set me up with, and that did not work. So the piping is 1/2 inch. That part would work, but the thread part to the pump or the valve, it's not a regular thread size or thread type like your average toilet. So that did not work. So I had to take that all back, and he didn't tell anybody in his description how he did it with the hose type, and kind of looked kind of stupid. Yeah, you're not the only one going to see it, but then you have all this extra hose in there, and you know, if you have kids, they're going to mess with the hose and whatever. So basically, if you're going to do it this way, you need two elbows. 1/2 inch will work on this size piping. And now Shark Connector does sell that part that threads on there. It's a 1/2 inch. It's just like that, but it is an elbow type. So you're gonna have to either leave the piping there a little bit longer and get a crimper and then crimp the pieces on there. But this works. It doesn't, it doesn't look too bad, whatever. But that's pretty much it. So just keep your original thread part that you had on your old toilet. That will work. Just gotta cut down the piping a little bit to bring it up to level with the valve on the new toilet. So that's pretty much about it. I don't have any more descriptions to tell you, what you're gonna need and what you're not gonna need. So if you have the original toilet, 1/2 inch open end wrench will work best to get the old toilet off. And then this one for the dometic is the 7/16. I use the open end, not the ratchet type, just a regular type. And you really don't have to do anything. The valves, put the caps on. Everything's put together as a bag here, and it comes with some kind of grease. If you see down in there, some kind of grease that helps keep the valve lubed. I heard a couple of different things. There's some kind of maintenance you have to do on these toilets to keep the valve nice and soft. I don't know exactly what they are yet, so I have to look that up. But yeah, that's it. If you have any other questions, like I said, I just did 2 elbows and cut the piping down. I just used a regular pipe connector. I really can't do too much since I only have the one good hand. And the thread type don't have to be too tight. I did kind of snuggle with the plier to get this little turn, but it's still pressurized with the pump. I wouldn't do the way that the guy did, left all the extra hose in there. Unless you're gonna add the rinse, they do sell some kind of a kit at Home Depot. You can add the other faucet thing. It's not like the one that come in the kit. The kit's like $80, something like $60, something like that. You get the kind that goes on your faucet for your sink, and fit that in there with the shark connectors or however you want to do it for cheaper than $60. I think you buy the kit for $12, about $20 at Home Depot, and you're pretty much good to go. But if you guys have any questions, I'll try to answer them the best I can. Air conditioning is still a little loud. See if you guys have any questions or whatever, I can help you out. But this would it would look like this pretty much. I just recently had to replace that. The threads down the bottom, where it looks like someone cut them. I don't remember it leaking before, but it looks like someone cut that. So, but that's what it looked like. Or you can just buy the kit. I bought mine from Camper World. Camper World had the cheapest deal compared to Amazon. They had a sale going on with them, or getting rid of them or something. But Amazon wanted, I think it was like $4 something. I ended up paying I think it was like $1 something, $2 something for it. Now it does come with a seal on the bottom, so you don't need that. I was gonna buy that, but it does come with a seal, and it comes with all the hardware you want. The instructions, the manual's not that good, so don't look for what you need, nothing like that. They should sell some kind of kit for the price you pay to, that converts that over for it. But if you guys have any questions, I don't know how many videos I'm going to do now, due to the fact that I'm kind of, can't really do nothing. I ended up able to do the small stuff. Get the small stuff done what I did. I haven't really done too much. It's still, you guys know the carpet, and I replaced these little connectors here. But if you guys have any questions about the toilet, let me know. It's pretty simple. It's not heavy. The box is pretty heavy. I think the box probably weighed probably 6 pounds or something like that. You'll have to look on Dometic's website. Dometic says the toilet weighs 20 pounds, but when it comes shipping from Camper World, it said it weighed 38 pounds. So that's not the true weight of this. It doesn't weigh much more than my old toilet does, and it's a lot better. Like I said, I haven't used it, but it's a lot higher, and it's easier to use the foot pedal. But if you guys have any questions, let me know. Like I said, you guys need 1/2 inch is your piping that you need. So you can do whatever you want to do. I really had a hard time finding the right thread type for the thing, for the valve threads. So, but your old thread type will work off your old toilet. You just got to cut it down and modify it, how you want it to look the cleanest. Now you could probably use PVC piping, but you got to wait for it dry and all that stuff. This way, it's already dry. And I have seen these pieces pop off under pressure. So at least with the shark connectors, you don't have to worry about that stuff. But let me know if you guys have any questions, and I'll try to answer them the best I can. But you guys have a good day for now.